7 for my creative writing class. My teacher was Mr. This next story I'm about to read to you is a story that I wrote a year ago, over a year ago actually, May 28th, 1987, for my creative writing class. My teacher was Mr. Friedlander. And anyway, I read it today, this story. It's only 4 pages long, but I really liked it. It's not a Newton story. Everyone liked it. They said it was a good idea. It's just that the writing needs help, you know. The writing isn't very good. But anyway, it's called The Depressing Bout of Sugar Ray Davis. And I think you might enjoy it. Where I didn't shade today. I thought that would add to the drama of it all. Okay. The Depressing Bout of Sugar Ray Davis. Only a few minutes remained before Sugar Ray Davis entered the ring to fight his latest opponent. And now, the young boxing hopeful was listening to his trainer give him some last-minute briefing before the fight. His trainer, Al, told him that although he was going to be fighting someone twice his age, that he had better not get cocky because his opponent was known for powerful punches. Davis assured Al that he had nothing to worry about, and with that, they and their cornermen started for the ring. On the way to the arena, thoughts about his beloved hospitalized dad began to cross his mind. Davis was excited about the fight, but was bothered from the doctor's report that his dad might not make it through the end of the week. His dad's cancer had flared up so badly that he was now comatose. "This fight's for you, Dad," said Sugar Ray Davis as he climbed up into the ring. Al saw Ray worrying about his dad and told him to turn what worry he had into anger, claiming that it could be used as a good weapon against his opponent. "I will," said Davis with a look of determination on his face, and he started shadowboxing, thinking of the money he'd used from the fight to help his dad out. Suddenly, all his psyching himself up to beat his opponent senseless took a bizarre turn when Davis noticed that the man he was going to fight looked exactly like his loving dad. "It's just Laddie," he said to himself to keep the killer instinct going. But when he was called to the center of the ring, he became shocked to realize that throughout the fight he would be punching someone in the head that looked like his dad's double. Something that looked just like the old man. "What's the matter, kid?" asked his concerned trainer. "He didn't psych you out, did he?" "I can't fight him," whispered. "I can't fight him," whispered a frightened Davis. "This guy looks just like my dad." "This guy looks just like my dad," he said. Before Al could respond to Davis's comment, the bell for round 1 sounded. Sugar Ray Davis then found himself automatically confronting his dad's clone in the ring. Going, It can't be. It just can't be," thought Davis as he fought defensively. Davis had met his opponent earlier, and thought the man looked somewhat like his dad, but now he seemed to be a carbon copy. The only difference was that the man looked a little younger and a lot healthier. Suddenly, the man exploded a thunderous right on Davis's jaw. Staggering Davis and causing the audience to boo, being that Davis was their favorite. "No!" screamed Al. "Stay away from the guy!" Suddenly, another punch connected to Davis's head, sending Davis into the ropes. Before Davis could fight back, the man was on him, hitting him with all his might. Davis tried to cover, but the punches were so strong that the man was blasting away his guard and getting some punches in on Davis's jaw, knocking him sideways on the ropes. The crowd was going wild. Each punch dimmed the fire out of Davis's eyes until he was almost out cold. Right as he was about to hit the canvas, the bell for round 1 ended. He found himself flopping his arms about on the canvas, trying to get up while the referee contemplated stopping the fight. "Get up! Get up!" shouted Al with fury in his voice. "Get up!" Davis staggered up, then walked over to his corner as though his legs were made out of about 2 big pieces of black spaghetti. "This can't be happening! This can't be happening!" shouted Al. "This can't be happening! This can't be happening! You're getting your butt kicked by an over-the-hill fighter." "You look like my dad, man," said Davis through. "You look like my dad, man," said Davis through slurred speech. "I don't care if he looks like Jesus himself. You get in there, you knock his head off. He's the only one standing in the way of fighting one's top contenders." When the bell for round 2 sounded, Davis's opponent charged at him, throwing haymakers at Davis's head, making the crowd go wild, as Davis luckily ducked and dodged the man's might. Davis managed to regain all his senses and quickly danced away, keeping his opponent's crushing blows out of harm's way. "Yay!" cheered the crowd when Davis unleashed a savage combination of punches against the man's double face. Against his dad's double's face. "Forgive me," cried Davis when he noticed the blood flowing from the man's nose. The man launched more bombs at Davis, but Davis began showing him and all who viewed the battle that he was champion material by quickly ducking and dodging all the blows and counterpunching with powerful punches also. At the end of round 2, Davis had the man in the middle of the ring, unable to land any punches. Yeah! Landing punches. All right, cheered Al as he and the cornermen got Sugar Ray Davis ready for round 3. "If you can keep on sticking and moving, you'll be able to beat the old coot." "Yeah," breathed Ray with a bad feeling running through him. "Yeah." In round 3, Davis did as Al advised and ended up scoring many points by sticking and moving. Davis's opponent continued trying to put him away with haymakers, but Davis was just too fast for him. Round 4 ended up being like 3, the same with 5, 6, 7, and 8. But in round 9, a frightening thing began to occur. The punches Davis used to rack up points with took a horrible toll on his opponent's face. By the end of round 9, the man's face was that of a puffy mess, the usual appearance a boxer's face ends up looking like after a fast, speedy champion has been hammering on it. When round 9 ended, Davis went back to his corner, feeling discouraged and frightened, to realize that not only did his opponent look like his dad, but now he looked like his dad in his dying, cancerous condition. You're doing it, laughed. You're doing it, laughed his trainer Al. The old man hasn't been able to land anything on you since round 5. Now, aren't you glad you didn't quit? Davis didn't say anything, but just stared across the ring at the man who now looked like his dying dad. Seeing the man's corner man rub his arms to prepare him for round 10 made Davis think he was watching a vision of the not-too-distant future when the doctors would be trying to restore life to his dad's lifeless body. "He's not my dad," said Davis with a look of determination on his face, in his eyes. "He's not my dad," shouted Ray Davis, making people think he was going insane. Davis only felt his body jump up and enter the ring on reflex as the bell for round 10 sounded. "Kill him, Ray! Kill him!" shouted. "Kill him, Ray! Kill him!" shouted an old lady in the audience. Again, Davis found himself circling and jabbing his left into his opponent's face, feeling loudly each time he felt his fist make contact. Smack, smack. By the end of round 12, the man was a bleeding, pulpy mess with blood coming from his mouth. "Damn it!" shouted Davis after the man took his strongest punch in the whole fight. "Why can't you at least go down for me? Why can't you at least go down for me?" The man said nothing but continued to pursue Davis with a knockout. When Davis returned to his corner to get ready for round 13, Davis looked his trainer in the eye and said, "I may end up being the champion, but I feel I'm not going to enjoy it. When I beat this guy, my dad will die. I know it." Al laughed at Davis, his superstition, and said angrily, The only thing that'll die in your family is the poverty. Look, Ray, you already have the guy beat on points. Just stay away from him. If you think he's your old man you're beating on, well, go easy on him. Go for the body. Tire him out. Tire him out. And Davis entered round 13 to deliver punches to the body. Bam! With a loud noise from Davis's opponent connected to his head, to Sugar Ray's head. "No!" screamed Dal when he saw his fighter laying on his stomach. And trying to go for the body, it had left Davis's guard down, leaving him open for one of those powerful bombs. Bam! Probably went down. He was punching the body. Wham! Bam! The crowd went crazy as Davis tried to make it to his feet. He made it up on the count of 8, but he was so rubbery-legged that he couldn't avoid another crushing right that sent Davis crashing down through the ropes. "No!" screamed Al with depression as the referee ran up to Ray Davis, and began counting them out. In one desperate attempt, Davis's trainer threw a bottle of water on him, helping him to revive. Davis got up on the count of 9 and was just about to be clobbered again when he was suddenly saved by the bell. "So much for staying away from him. The only way you'll be able to beat the only way you'll be able to win the fight now is by knockout," yelled Al. "What do you think of that, huh? So what is it? Are you going to throw away your career and success just because you think your dad will die if you beat someone who just happens to look a little like him? Is that it? Is that how superstitious you are?" "I feel like garbage," said Davis, trying to get his senses back again. The stress of the whole thing made him want to cry. "Look," begged Al, "this man is not your dad. He ain't your dad. Would your dad ever try to knock your head off? Or if I was doing something really bad. Ray, listen to me. Your dad is lying in a hospital bed dying right now. When I lose this fight, your dad's going to die. If not now, later. Okay, shouted Davis. Okay, I'll beat the guy, alright? If it makes you happy, I'd knock his head out. Kill him, Al yelled. And the clanging of the bell forced Davis into the ring for round 14. Suddenly, the crowd began chanting his last name over and over and over again when Davis managed to actually stagger his opponent with a powerful right to the jaw. Weakened by the constant attempt to put Davis away with a haymaker, the opponent began to quickly run out of steam. By the end of round 14, the man's face was an easy target. Yeah, shouted Al when Davis staggered the man with a left. Oh yeah, he squealed again when the man's head snapped back from another. By the end of round 14, the man was about to fall from Davis's constant blows to his head. If it weren't for the bell, he would have fallen. Knockout! Knockout! Laughed Al to Davis as he got him ready for the last and final round. Knockout! You hear me? It has to be a knockout! That's the only way I can win? Asked Davis with a sick feeling. Hey, you've done it many times before, and look, Ray, it's the only way you can be sure that you'll get a top contender. You kill my dad. I know I will, said worried Davis. And the bell for the last and final round sounded. Davis and his opponent met and touched gloves for the last 3 minutes of the fight. Seeing the man's puffy, bloody face staring him in the eyes made him feel very stupid. What in the hell have I done? Asked Davis. He asked himself as he dodged another bomb from the man who now looked like a bloody, dripping monster. How could I have allowed myself to deform another human being? He asked himself as he dodged another. Especially someone that looks like my dad. My dying dad. My dying dad. And Ray Davis ducked and dodged some more punches from the pitiful old man. Fight, shouted Al. Knockout, hurry! Ray, you're running out of time! God forgive me, said Davis, and he quickly gave the man a weak jab to his unprotected face. Smack. Bam. Yay! Yay! Cheered the crowd. Bam bam! Went another uncontrollable 1-2 across the man's face. Bam bam! Went another uncontrollable 1-2 across the man's jaw again. Ole! Ole! Shouted Al when he saw the man's legs buckle from another contact to the jaw. The chanting began to increase in volume as Davis began to get more punches in on the man's glass-eyed face. As the volume increased, so did Davis's punishment on his opponent. Yes! Shouted the trainer with wild excitement. The cheering of the crowd became greater and greater. Davis's punches became harder and faster. God forgive me, shouted Davis as he backed his opponent up against the ropes. Davis suddenly found himself hitting the man in an uncontrollable frenzy. In an uncontrolled frenzy. Stop! Stop! He tried to tell his fists, but it was as though the loud, wild cheering had created a demon that had possessed him. Please stop, he heard the voice shout in his head. Davis couldn't stand what he was doing, but he was doing it. Finally, the bell sounded. Davis found himself staggering away from the man in a daze and became lifted up into the air by his cornermen. Yay! 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 thundered the arena. Their favorite had come back fast and powerful. Davis then turned to his opponent and saw the physician working over him. Davis's opponent moved his head back and forth to regain his senses. Finally, the man opened his eyes and began to get up. "Yay!" cheered Davis with happy. "Yay! Yay!" cheered Davis with happy excitement to realize the man was going to live. Then Davis saw his manager walking down the aisle with a sad look on his face. Davis instinctively knew what that meant. That guy look jolly on my day. That guy look jolly on my day. That guy look jolo. That guy look jolo. That guy look jolly on my day. That guy look jolly my day. That guy look jolly my day. That guy look jolly my day. That guy looks just like my dad. That guy look jolly my day.